Sorry for the interruption. I can only record 10 minutes of the video because this is an evaluation copy. And so we were at the making the headers. It calculates the number of chunks within that's in the FBX files, and it gets the actual header size. So that's the number of the size of the headers plus the number of chunk times the size of the chunk information. And these are just writing out, saving the bonding sphere information from the FBX exporter, and it says the size. And this is a function that actually writes out the header. Basically opens a file. I think it's done by the one coding these functions, and just writes the file and the size. It's very simple. And after it writes the header, it basically writes out the vertex, the triangles, and also the textures. And I also create, while I was working on reading and writing the file, I used a unit test framework called Catch. It's just basically did a lot of prototyping and testings, making sure my code is correct using this unit framework. And going on to the viewer, it's like this. There's a lot of wall bears, exploit. There's a buggy. It's an AK-47 I found on the web. But the texture is in the JPEG format, so I just use the default pink checker, and that's a missile, and a space frigate. And there are a few. So I can swap out the texture by pressing the X. It will do so randomly. And there's the bonding button will be turned on and off by pressing B. And in the game class, I keep track of a game object that I call the active object, and then if I press T, it will change the camera. It will change the camera to look at that object, and so we can do like rotation on that. And the rotation can be done. So I did the rotation around y-axis and the x-axis. And the T can be pressed to go back to the origin, but with the X and Y set to the target. And I can change the active target by pressing G. And so once I do that, I can press T again. You will change to a different target. And press Y, it will rotate vertically. And internally, I created a FBX model that's derived from the original model class. And what's different is that it checks the vertex and the triangles. Well, it's not different, but it's this replaces all the pentagon, the cube models. So I only have one model, one FBX model within the game engine. And here's the low content, and this is where the models are created. So I just specify the bin file, and we'll read the bin file and then create the FBX model object according to that. And the bonding sphere is also created in the low objects, and each bonding sphere, for each bonding sphere I pass in the pointer to the game object that is associated. Like right here, it saves the previous game object, and then paste that. And then paste that into the bonding sphere object. The bonding sphere object is derived from the game object, so they can be updated the same. That was my original idea, but I ended up adding a bonding sphere object manager to manage them, and that works kind of similar to the game object manager. In the update, it checks if the bonding sphere is enabled, and then you will call the bonding sphere manager's update, and then the bonding sphere update will go through the PCS tree and then update and show each bonding sphere. And that looks like basically just walk through the tree. And the bonding sphere objects contains a center, the radius, and also the model, and also the object it is bonded to. And here's the keyboard section. It's the notation we did in the class for the y-axis and the z-axis. Is that the other way, not y-axis, the x-axis. And that's it for the demo. And I kind of treat it when it comes to the texture. I think ideally I would like to have that to be more data driven, but I kind of hard coded the texture associated with each thing. Here it is. So it's for the Astro Boy, there's a associated texture, and that's the texture associated with layer, and so forth. And the default one is a pink. Yeah, it's not very data driven, but I just didn't have enough time to work more on this. And that's it for the demo. Thank you very much.